Okay, so we have a very, very interesting week this week. Unless you've kind of been hiding underneath a rock, so to speak, we have a situation emerging significantly, which is coming up to a critical point on regarding the euro, more specifically Greece itself. If you are or are not aware, the current bailout program that Greece undertook, I think it was about 12 months or so ago, expires next Saturday. Okay, so they need to come to an agreement as to what's going to happen. On Friday, the intentions were that they want to come to that agreement by last Friday. It was rejected. They agreed on a lot of the terms. However, Germany rejected some of the terms. So effectively, what's taken place is they are trying to agree on a 4 month extension to the program that is supposed to expire next Saturday. Now, that 4 month extension program was rejected predominantly by Germany on Friday. They are resubmitting today. Now, the news, everything that I saw over the weekend, and I tried to get myself as cluey as I could for this event because I do believe that there could be a really, really good trading opportunity here. The Greeks are quite happy that the modifications made, they feel confident that they will be approved. So they are submitting that today. It will be reviewed overnight, and tomorrow they will make an announcement. Okay, so let's have a think about what could actually happen, what the impact of this is, and how it could affect us as a trader. Now, essentially, if they agree on the terms and conditions, Greece is saved, no harm done. It's a bailout program, and the euro continues as we know it. What that would do pretty much almost instantly, the euro should shoot up probably towards a 115 mark, at least, even if it's a knee jerk reaction. Okay, we should see some movement. Now, should tomorrow morning it'd probably be tomorrow evening our time, okay, because I'm talking Europe time. So tomorrow, should they say no, we're still not in agreement, it's not the end of the world. There's still 4 days to go till the end of the week of Saturday, for them to come up with another solution. But let's say post Saturday, if the answer is no, we're not going to agree, we are going to drop Greece out of the euro. What that will do pretty much instantaneously, we should see the euro drop. When I say euro, I am talking about the euro USD. We should see that drop. We could break 110 and head very rapidly towards parity. Now, that could take a month, it could take two, but that's the general direction. The reason for that is essentially a lot of the smaller nations that are part of the Europe, out of the Eurozone, it kind of sets a precedence that, you know, if it's we're not going to carry a smaller nation and we're quite happy to kick you out. If that's the precedence, then basically what will happen is the Euro USD could effectively it could cease to exist. All right, and but before that happens, you'll see it plummet significantly. Okay, and then basically all those countries that are part of it will go back to their own currency. Now that's an extreme case. I know not many fundamentalist analysts believe truly that that's going to happen, but it is a possibility. Okay, so at first instance, we need to wait for tomorrow to see what the decision on the Greece situation is, if they accept their amended terms. And if not, we'll have to write it out till the end of the week. But I can assure you, by next time that we speak next Monday, we should have an answer one way or another. Okay, so that is the highlight of the week. Now, in conjunction with that, we also have Miss Yellen's testimony, which happens. Let me see it here. Okay, right over there. Now, essentially, the reason this is so important is simply because of the fact that we are very, very keen to see what Miss Yellen what her positioning is, or how she indicates on the situation on when perhaps the US may raise their interest rates. If you get the perfect cocktail, okay, the perfect cocktail being Greece is saved, everybody's happy, and Miss Yellen says we're going to increase rates, and she gives an impression that it's going to happen within the next quarter, we could easily be talking next week Euro USD sitting at 117. Okay, in my gut reaction is that there is a higher probability of that happening than the other way. I don't think it would be an extreme surprise if Greece gets kicked out. So what you should be doing, if you wanted to trade this information, you should try and make yourself alert as to when this is going to happen, and as soon as possible that you hear the information, you need to react on it immediately if this is the way that you want to trade this. Okay, so namely because of what I've just said, all this US data, US data, US data coming out, euro, etc. The currency of the week, the one under the spotlight this week is going to be the Euro USD. Okay, there is a little bit of AUD data just there, and we saw some China data somewhere before over here as well. It is minor compared to the Euro USD situation this week. Lois is asking me, should we close our Euro USD positions that we've had open for some time? How are we sitting on that one? Are we positive, or are we just at break even? Lois, so are we breaking even on that trade? Yeah. No, we're a little bit behind. Okay, when I get to it, we'll have a look at it, and we'll see if we can answer that question. All right, so that's what's happening this particular week. Please take note. As always, just remember that these times are in my local time, Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. Okay. All right, let's get started. Let's bring up our chart and let's see what we got. We'll start off with the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, there is no doubt, it's very, very clear we are in a downtrend. Okay, I'm not really interested at all to look for a buying opportunity. If anything, I'm trying to find a selling opportunity. I'm trying to find any any bounces to try and sell into the Aussie dollar. Okay, I do get the feeling that when Miss Yellen speaks, that she will give an indication that a rate rise is sooner rather than later. That's the message, the overall message that I feel is going to come from that. It is a bit of intuition, but if that is the case, what it will do to the Aussie dollar is it'll basically drive it down. It'll drive us through there. Now, the 80 level has been seemed to, once we broke 80, there's 80 over there. We haven't really come back to contest it too much. We are traveling, we are in a bit of consolidation in here. All right, so what I'm looking for on the Aussie dollar, I don't have a trade for you today, but what I am looking for on a daily chart, I'm going to look for our favorite setup. I'm going to look for a candle with a fractal and an inside bar next to it. So really, I'm looking for something like this. Okay, so I'm looking for a candle that peaks up, it's got the fractal at the top, and then immediately next to it we get an inside bar, so that then I can trade the break through. That's what I'm going to look for. I don't know when I'm going to get it, all right, but that's what I'm searching for. So until I get that, I am not going to participate. Ideally, you would get a candle, maybe it might go up a little bit more, and then you get the candle setup that we want there, and then we take our trade down. Okay, so that's what I'm searching for. It's not there right now, so I need to wait it out. Let me see on a 4-hour chart if there's anything different. No, there's just nothing but sideways ranging or sideways consolidation. So for Aussie dollar for this week. Let's wait it out. We could get this set up. If this we could get it tomorrow, depending on the current candle. Okay, so let's wait. Let's see what it gives us, and it will put us in a much better position to trade it. Okay, let's move on to the Euro USD. Okay, on a daily chart now, you can see the effect of the Greece situation. Look how tight this market is. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, it's just traveling sideways, and it's just really just waiting for a decision on what's going to happen before it moves in the direction that it's going to move. Okay, so we do have a short position. I believe we would have been triggered around about that level there somewhere, which puts you a little bit behind. Your stop is up there. Look, you're going to have to make this call on your own, guys. I do get the feeling, though, all right, without trying to influence you too much, I do get the feeling that Greece will be okay, which would basically mean this. All right, the actual trade itself that we traded, our trigger was here. It's been quite a while. We should, like, our target should have been hit if it played out as per normal. Okay, so I guess if you're getting out just there, it's a decision that you have to make. But that's all I'll say on that matter. Okay. Karen saying we have a short and a 4-hour chart. Let me have a look. I'll have a look at that in one moment. So that's on my daily. Okay. So to be honest, this week for the Euro USD, there's only one way that I want to trade this. I'm going to wait and for the news, and as soon as I hear it, I will play my card. Okay. There is a 200 pip trade in this. All right. It's the only time. But what I want to make clear here is, if I trade this, this would not be considered a news trade. I am not trading data that came out. Okay, I would be trading fundamental policies. There's a big difference. Okay, so is that clear?
Welcome to any meeting. Your line is now unmuted.
Sorry guys, I'm back. Did we just drop out? Could I get confirmation that you can hear me and that you can see me on my screen, please? That's a yes and a yes. Thank you. Okay, so let me get back to what I was saying. I don't know what point I just dropped out. I just noticed that my internet just spiked out and spiked back on. Me trading the Greece decision is not really me trading news data. There is a massive difference. I'm not trading a number on speculation. As soon as I find out what the situation is, what I'm actually doing is I'm trading a policy, and essentially it's getting as close to the source as you can, and you're trading against all the speculators. That's all you're doing. I believe there's a 200 pip trade in this. You just have to wait for it. Okay, so and you just don't if you hear it half an hour later, it's kind of too late. You got to pull the trigger within about a minute of the data coming out. Okay, so for the Euro USD this week, I won't put a technical trade in. I am waiting for Greece decision tomorrow, and I will monitor my position heavily when Miss Yellen testifies on Thursday morning. Okay. Romi's asking me, Oh, why is this a signal? Okay. The actual signal was this one, Romy. These two here were the signal. You got to ignore all this. This had not happened at that stage. We had got an inside bar in a downtrend, and at the break of that bar there was our entry into the market. We got triggered by this blue one. We just got triggered and it went straight backwards. We almost got stopped out, and we've been in the trade ever since. Okay? That was the trigger. All right, so that's the Euro USD this week. It was a sell. Sorry, yes, it was a sell. Okay, so that Euro USD. Sorry, Yes, Karen, let's have a look at a H4. Okay. I can see the trade that Karen's talking about. I just wanted to see if I can justify it a little bit better than just simply taking an inside candle trade. Okay, it's not the cleanest trade. Karen, did you see that on a counter trend strategy with a zigzag? I'm guessing. Yes. Okay. All right. So Karen likes she likes to use a counter trend strategy. It's a strategy that I don't use a lot on my Monday sessions. Okay, because I'm trying to pick different types of trades. However, the same trade here, if I draw a trend line across the top on a 4-hour chart, what we've got is, if I zoom in now that you can see where I've drawn my trend line, we've got a nice little setup off these two candles. Those two candles there. You got the fractal at the top sitting on that resistance line, and then you got an inside candle, okay, right there. So you would have got triggered right where I'm just drawing that little dot to go short. Your stop would be up there. Okay, so if anybody wants this trade, if you like it, take it. I'm not going to take it right now for the reasons I've already said. I'm gonna wait this one out. I'm going to trade the big trade on this one. Okay, so there's a trade there, and let me just measure for you what you can expect. I'll essentially, well, where we are right now, your stop would be around about, let's say, 55 pips. So you could aim for about 80 pips on that trade. So which would make it about a 1.7 trade. It's 1.7 to 1 risk reward. Okay? All clear? Does everybody understand the trade? Great. Okay, so that one's in play, and as I said, I'm going to sit this one out. Let's move on. GBP USD. Okay, last week GBP USD we saw this rising wedge. Okay, going up, and we got essentially we nearly got a signal right there. All right, when you start trading these types of patterns and you become aggressive, you'll find yourself that you'll still enter the trade probably around about there because of this fractal, but that's just you'll develop yourself as a trader on that. I didn't trade this one. I didn't quite get the signal that I was looking for, and then on the other side, I didn't quite get the signal as well, so I kind of felt a little bit ripped off. However, we did get this candle here is a clear break. Okay, it's retraced. So if anybody's interested, I would rather take this GBP USD than that Euro USD. And basically, the reason, give me 1 second. The reason that I would be taking this trade is we've already got the signal. I had an entry right there to go short. It's pulled back. It's touched the line. It's left a fractal for me up there, and right now we're here. So I'm actually got the ability to get into the trade at a cheaper level. Okay, so if anybody wants this one, let's measure this one out. Let's see what it actually entails. We're talking about, it's going to be a risk of around about 42 pips. Okay, so I'm going to place it. Give me one moment. I need my mini terminal. Okay, so I'm a seller. I'm going to risk on this one. I'm going to risk $50. Lois, correct. We don't have an inside. Okay, Lois is asking. This setup here is not an inside bar. Okay, that's correct. I'm not trading it for that reason. I'm trading it for this one here. Okay, we've broken out of the pattern. So technically, I would have been in the trade over here. And not only that, it's retraced and it's shown rejection off that line there. So at this point, I'm actually happy to take it. Okay. So if you're not comfortable with the trade, that's okay. Just sit it out. We'll at the very least watch it. Okay, my stop is going to be, I'm going to go for 45 pips. And I just want to see where I'm going to get out of this thing. I'm happy to get out around about here. Make it 100. Oh, let's make it 90, 2 to 1. Place the order. And there we go. Are we clear? Are we understanding? So I've gone short right there. There's my stop. And this is my TP. Okay. So, and the reason for the trade again is we have broken out of a rising wedge. The wedge is very, very clear. We've broken out and hopefully it's nice to us and pulls back some distance. Okay. GBP USD. Let's move on to gold. Okay, there's a couple of things that I can see in gold. All right, let me talk you through them. First thing is, notice where I've just drawn this white line across my chart right there. Okay, this level here acted as some kind of resistance. Then later, the same level acted as, first of all, it acted as some kind of support, then it acted as resistance, then it bounced off that again, it rejected again over here, and we are at this point again. It also happens to fall pretty close to the 1200 level. Okay, now the market often has memory, and it's reacting to that memory or that particular level. This line is a very, very, very good indication of a place where the market seems to be bouncing or acting as resistance or support. All right, it happens to be on the 1200. The second thing that I want you to notice is when I draw a line through the bottom here, I'm getting one touch, two touch, three touch, and I'm touching right now. It's also an area which is coinciding between these two lines. That gets my interest even higher. It's on a 1200, and the one last thing that I want to show you is if I draw a fib level from down here to right up there, it also falls on a 78.6 Fibonacci. So if I've drawn a line from here all the way to up here and come back to the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level, it's all falling right here. So what does that mean, guys? I've got 4 good reasons to do something. What do you think I want to do? Alex says long. Fantastic. Okay, so it's unanimous. What I want to do is I want to go that way. Okay, so now the question is, when do I go long, and how do I go long? How do I go about it? So let's have a look at that. Okay, so yep, we've got the 4 touches. Um, I'll show you a couple of ideas. Let me get rid of this fib level and clean up the chart, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, this is my thinking. To be honest, if you're an aggressive trader, just jump on it right now. Okay, you're at the level. If it goes through it, it's failed, and guess what? It's failed. You're out of the trade. But what you may want to do is, if we concentrate on these 2 candles here, okay, you could either wait to see how this current candle finishes up to see if it leaves you with a fractal and an inside bar. So for example, if this candle finished like that, for example, it will leave you with an inside bar situation, and then that gives you a clear entry to go through it. Now, you run the risk that this current candle finishes up here, and then you miss out on the trade altogether. All right, so another way that you could play this is as follows. The reason that I'm taking this trade is many reasons. There's four different reasons that I found to take the trade. So I would actually feel comfortable with putting a pending buy at the break of that candle to go in this direction with my stop just below there. If I do get that big blue candle closing up there, for example, well then I'm already well into profit on my trade. Okay, if I don't get the big blue candle and I end up with a red candle that does this, for example, well then all I do is cancel out my order, no harm done. Okay, Lois is also saying it's an ABC. Yes, it's an ABC long, that's right, because it's on a Fibonacci level. Okay, so can you see? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place an order to buy, okay, and get triggered in that way. If tomorrow morning what I'll need to do is check out what this candle, the current candle, ends up looking like, and then if I need to make a modification or delete my order, I will have to do that. Okay, so let me organize this trade now. What have I got? I'm going to need help from my mini. Terminal from, I want to get in at, the high is 12.15, so I'm going to try and get in at 12.15.50. Okay, so I want to buy stop at 12.15.50. I think I have to trade a little bit bigger here, so I have to go $100, otherwise the trade won't go in. And my stop is going to be underneath this candle, 11.97.60. So let's put it at 11.96. Give myself a little bit of room. $11.96, and my take profit, let's go for 2 to 1, 28. I'll put it over here at 1280. I don't remember if it's going to allow me to do that when I use an exact price, but here we go. Let's see if it lets me place it. Okay, I got to call it in pips. All right, so bear with me one moment. In pips. Well, this is gold as well, so this will be interesting. 780. $12.35. Sorry, this one's 780. I'm just thinking out loud, guys. Just bear with me one moment. Oh, what have I done there? Okay, so you always get an opportunity to fix the trade up. The entry's correct, but the stops are not. You can see my entry there, so that means I've got to really delete the whole order. Well, what I can do is I'll drag it down to where I need to right now. But I will have to adjust my size. I will do that afterwards, okay? Alright, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to buy it just over there. My stop is just over here, and then I want to go in that direction. Okay, does everybody understand the trade? And it's taken the smallest trade, which is alright. Okay, alright, so that's gold. We've got one of those rare situations where we have many things lining up. So I believe there's an opportunity. If anybody out there is a really aggressive trader, you can jump on this right now. Okay, you just run the risk that it may go down. That's all. All right, US yen. Let's carry on. The US yen, we triggered that break of that triangle with this candle over here. It went up, it's shot back down, it's hovering around. We're still in there. The US yen will be very, very dependent on Miss Yellen's testimony. If she indicates that the rate rise is sooner rather than later, bang, this will take off. Okay, the 120 level is causing a little bit of sort of a little bit of a barrier. It looks like the market, it got to 120 and the sellers jumped all over it. Okay, I don't really want to be a seller here, but I do believe that Miss Yellen's testimony will dictate this. Basically, if she says things along the lines that they're happy with the economy and they don't feel there's an urgency for a rate rise, it will really, really hurt the dollar, the US dollar, and it will lose ground against a lot of currencies. Okay, now if that happens, I think that's a lower probability. Okay, it's more likely, most analysts are predicting, it's more likely that her testimony will indicate a rise soonish. Okay, and as long as it indicates that, then the dollar will gain momentum. The traders will have the confidence in it and basically should shoot it up. All right, so we need to wait for that, and this pair is the one that will be the most vulnerable to that statement. Okay, we're still in a trade, so I'm not going to do anything on the US yen today. I'm just going to sit this one out. That position is still valid. Okay, does anybody have any questions on the US yen? Let me have a quick look on a 4-hour chart, see if I can see anything. No, not at all. So we're still in that same situation and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look at the euro yen. Okay, we were tracking this channel last week. See, when you trade a channel, sometimes you don't get that ideal situation where you get the candle with a fractal and you get an inside bar next to it. Okay, I've shown you that method because that method it's like a higher probability method, or it's a safer way in. Okay, but so if we were trying to do that, we would not have been able to take advantage of that. Okay, did anybody trade this just incidentally? Okay, if you traded this one, you would have to trade it the same way that we tried gold today. Put your order above there and try and jam it up. Okay. The danger is if you get the little wick that goes through and the candle ends up being like this and then it starts to go down, so you get whipped into a trade and then you get stopped out. Okay, but I didn't trade this one. I didn't send it out via Twitter because I didn't get the correct setup. If this is going to be the method, if you're going to become a channel trader, wedges and things of that nature, once your confidence is at the correct level, you will see that this type of trade will become your bread and butter trade. You will be taking this trade there because you will have confidence in the channel that you've drawn. Okay, now so that's gone. I just wanted to comment on that. That's all. We did break down. Okay, and now it's come back up. So let me get rid of this channel now because it's no longer relevant to us. But what I can see, I'm on a 4-hour chart by the way, but what I can see is I can kind of see another one here. When you get good at this, the art, I guess, of pattern trading, or as we spoke last Thursday, pattern recognition, which is identifying supply and demand. The art of it is being able to spot these quickly. Okay, we got one, two, we're ready to trade. Okay, this is the first opportunity that we have to trade this. And what can I see there? Can I see something there? Is there an opportunity there? Lois, Alex say yes. Inside candle. It's right on the top of that thing. This is screaming, trade me, trade me. And I think we're just getting triggered. Let me zoom in, really zoom in. Let me get rid of my line. The low of this one was 135.30 and this one was it's triggered by 0.4 of a pip. Not enough. It's about to trigger. Okay, so we can just watch it. So we've got a trade here. So for those that don't understand what I'm talking about, this candle set up, these two, it's left us with a fractal at the top, right on the channel. It doesn't get more perfect than that. The candle that followed was an inside candle, okay, of that one. So therefore what we do is at the bottom of that candle, well, this is hard to draw straight, but I'll try right there. When we break that, we trade back into the channel and we're breaking right now. So I believe it's already broken or we're there or thereabouts. It's broken through by 0.6 pips, another 0. If it hit, your entry should be about 130. Yeah, we want to. It's a 4-hour chart, so probably a 2-pip break would be all right. Lois, a 2-pip break, 1 pip, 2 pips, somewhere about there should be okay. So let's just monitor it. Okay, so if let me just, I'll punch the order in. I'm going to sell. So 2 pips away, fixed cash, say $50. The stop's going to be, say 68, 69 pips. And my target is going to be 100. Oh no, this is not a 2-to-1. Target's going to be about down here somewhere, 140. I think we've just about triggered, but I'll place it now. Okay, you can see my order in the market now, guys. There's my little line. I'm nearly triggered. I put it 2 pips away. There's my stop. There's my target. And it should be sized correctly. It sized me up at 0.06. I'm still not in the market. Okay. All clear. We understand the reason for that trade. It's just a nice channel trade. Okay. Now just bear in mind that is euro, all right, and the euro is one of those that are volatile. So if you don't like this trade, don't take it. But it's a legitimate trade. I'll move on. Kiwi Dollar. Let me have a quick look at a daily chart. All right. A couple of things that I want to talk about with this current setup that we have right now. Whenever you see a currency that has a very clear consolidation region, like here, where it basically was just doing that for a long time, and then it breaks out, like that's a super clear breakout trade. Okay, what I always like to do is if you draw a line towards the bottom of that, I'm always interested to see what happens, because the market, you'll be surprised at how often it comes back and comes back into that region. Okay, this region is some kind of a hot spot. Okay, and it can go both ways. It can shoot back down or it can shoot back up, but it's usually a good area to identify a good trade with that one. All right, so I'm always interested in that area. That's the first thing that I'll say on this particular case. Also, so I'm on a daily chart. So let me just I'm just going to draw in that area so that I'm aware of where it is. Okay, so roughly in that vicinity. If I zoom in now, I'm on a daily chart. With the Kiwi dollar at the moment, I really don't have much reason or interest in going long. I'm really just trying to find situations of when to go short. All right. I'm coming to that area that I've highlighted. So there's a couple of things that I like to look at. Okay. Lois has made a comment that there is a little setup there. Okay, on a pullback that we can short there off the bat. So if anybody's interested in that, there it's an inside bar. I believe you would have been triggered on this one. Let's zoom in and let's have a quick look. So you actually got 3 inside bars on each other, and the last one has triggered. So you had that one, was eating up this one, which was eating up that one, and this little peak there may have just triggered. Let me just measure. The low of this one is 75.09 and this one is 75.11, so it's gone through by 2 pips, so it has triggered. So if anyone's interested, you can short it right now. If not, what you can do is, let's go to a 4-hour chart. On a 4-hour chart, all I've done is drawn in this bottom line, and I've got the 2 touches, and that grey area is that other area that I already marked out. So 1, you can short right now, okay? 2, you can wait to see what happens as we tighten into this area here, okay? What I'm really looking for is I'm really just looking to sell this. I just don't know when we're going to get the trigger. If I'm trading off a daily, then I would have a trigger right now. The only thing that concerns me about this setup, Lois, is that this point has retraced 50% of the journey. Okay, so what I'm saying is from there to here, to there, so this is 50%. It's gone beyond the 50%. So normally when we do a setup that goes like this, and we're trying to pick off an area to sell in there, this retracement is usually either the 23.6 or the 38.2 Fibonacci. When it goes through to the 50, it's a little bit higher, and it could be a turning point. All right, so it could be that it's going to go beyond us. So what I think is this top right there, which is where you would have to put your stop, may not hold. Okay, this line here, this area here may get tested. So does that make sense, guys? So if you trade this one right here, it's a little bit too deep into the retracement, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't want to go long, but I do feel that it may go up a little bit higher before it comes down. So what I'm willing to do with this one is I'd rather wait for it on a 4-hour chart, as I've shown you. Let me get rid of the Fibonacci levels, and I'm interested to see what happens as we approach that region and this line in here, and then I might get the break that I want. Okay, so with the Kiwi Dollar, I'm going to wait this one out to see if I get an opportunity for it. Okay, we all clear on how we're playing the Kiwi Dollar this week? Yep, fantastic. All right, the last one for the week, the Euro Aussie. Okay, the Euro Aussie. We had this trend line in our charts last week. This one here. Did anybody trade the break? Did anybody trade the breakout of that trend line? No? No one? Okay. It was a nice one. You did. Oh, Roy did? Okay, well done. Romy did as well. Great. Did you get stopped out? Are you still in the trade? If you traded this, if you took the trade, let's say you probably would have entered the earliest, somewhere here, roughly, you would have entered. Okay. Okay, stopped out. If you traded this, you got to remember what kind of trade this is. So if I'm guessing you put your stop there, is that what happened? and then we got stopped out up with that peak there. I'm guessing that's sort of what made it. Okay. All right. Um, you got to get the feel for these ones, guys. So look, the more you trade them, the better the feel would be. The trend line was good. This was unexpected. That there. Okay. It's just the way it goes. But when you start to analyze this unexpected point, right? So let me show you something. If you drew a top line, like you already know, I think we were looking at a triangle. I don't know if I had this top line last week or not, but this line is valid. Okay, so normally what I like to do is just extend your lines out. Okay, so if you extend that out, then it helps you in your stop placements. All right, because if you put once you got essentially now you got a triangle. Okay, and the way you trade a triangle, it's your stop inside the triangle is a little bit too close. So really you should be going at the very least to the opposite side of where you got in, which means, so if you got in on this candle, you got to go to the opposite side, which is there, and put your stop just above there at the very least. So it was a trend line down, but there was also like a triangle merging in, which would have meant you stayed in the trade. Okay, nevertheless, I just want to point that out. Let's have a look at what we got right now. I think let me get rid of this line now. I don't need it anymore. But I like this line that I've just drawn in now. I'm quite comfortable with it. I've got a descending wedge. Okay. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, and I've got 1, 2, okay, or 3. So I've got quite a lot of touches. We are ready to trade this. Okay, this is ready to trade. So we're right in the middle. What I'm looking for is this. Look for an opportunity up here. And what you're going to be looking for is either 1 or 2. All right, those are the two. And when it comes back, look for 3. This one here, no. It's a descending wedge, so we don't trade down a descending wedge. Okay. Romi's asking, should have to put stop above the fractal. Not the fractal itself, Romy. Okay, the fractal is just simply a graphical way. Think of it as a little arrow that says this is the candle that meets the criteria. So what I mean by that is you don't have to put your stop, say, hang on a sec, like there. You have to put the stop probably anywhere between 4 or 5 pips above the high or below the low of that candle. Okay, so if this was the candle, there's the actual low, and then just go down 4 pips and wherever it goes. So the actual fractal itself, it's simply a marking on the chart to say, hey, this is the candle that you should be looking at. That's all. Okay. So with the euro yen, look out for those there, and we should be able to get a trade out of that. Okay. I'm pretty confident that we'll get a signal on the euro Aussie. So keep an eye on that one and see what we get. All right, any questions while I summarize what we've done today? Just type it in and I'll address it for you. So Aussie dollar daily chart, we are waiting for a setup to go short. Okay, and notice that the Aussie dollar chart looks very different to the Kiwi dollar. Oops, sorry, to the Kiwi dollar daily. See the Kiwi Dollar. Yes, it's on a downtrend, but it just came out of a breakout and it's coming back into that head zone. Okay, where you compare it to the Aussie dollar chart, not really a breakout, it's just coming down smoothly. So any pullback, I'm looking to hit it straight away. That's the best answer that I can give to what Lois asked before, or mentioned that there's a setup right now in the Kiwi dollar. Okay, so Aussie, we're waiting. Euro USD is the big one for the week. We have a top resistance line. There is a counter trend trade on the cards for those that want it, but this is the trade for the week. Do your homework, prepare for it, have a game plan in your head, hear it, execute it. Let's see what happens next week. Okay, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to call this one out live. It's going to happen at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and on top of that you're not going to get it quick enough. All right, so there you have it. GBP USD, we have a rising wedge that already triggered. We've just entered late in the position right now. My stop is just above that last high, so that's in an all right position. Okay, gold, we have a combination of 4 things lining up: Fibonacci, round number, old support, resistance line, and the trend line. Okay, so we've got a pending order. I have to come back and readjust the size of this trade, but we have a pending order to buy at the break of that last candle. So I'm not going to try and wait for an inside candle. However, tomorrow, if there is an inside candle, I will readjust my entry to a lower entry point. US yen, still currently long. I'll hold that one out. The decision on interest rates is going to be the major impact on the US yen for this week. Euro yen, little channel. We've triggered. Have I triggered? I'm in the market. Euro yen, I sold at 135.28. Okay, my stop is at 135.97. My target's at 133.88. I'm in the market. Kiwi dollar, we've already talked about. On a 4-hour chart, I am waiting to see what happens into this key area. Finally, Euro Aussie, we've identified a descending wedge, and we should get an opportunity to trade either out of it or back into it, probably within about maybe anywhere between 5 to 10 candles. Okay, any final questions? We all good? Take note of the times that things are happening. Okay, the Greece situation, it's going to come out randomly. Okay, I'm constantly listening to news, so that's how I find out about it. All right, but when it comes out, we will see something occur through the market. All right, so have your game plan, prepare yourself. I will see you all on Thursday, same time, and we'll start up with we'll start going through some strategies again. Okay. By the way, I have received emails from a few of you who wanted to participate in the 20 trade challenge and the trading plans and so forth. If you didn't watch last Thursday's class, I highly suggest you go and do so. It was all about self development of the trader. Okay, it's an absolute must. You need to invest some time in yourself. Other than that, have a fantastic afternoon. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye for now, guys.